This is a design and technology tutorial on how to use the Husqvarna sewing machine to create a buttonhole. What you have here are a range of tailor's chalks. These are the only things you can actually use to mark on fabric with. You have a variety of ways of marking on the fabric. These are called tailor's chalk. These are the only things you should use to mark on your fabric. You should never use a pen or a pencil as they will not come off. Select your button ready to mark out onto your fabric. I'm using calico to mark out my button. What I need to do is to mark the diameter of my button. I will use my tailor's chalk to mark the diameter. I will take my button away and then I will draw a straight line as my guide. This is the normal foot, but I will be using the buttonhole foot, which is marked with a letter C. I'm now going to take off my straight foot by pushing it carefully off. There is a bar that goes across the foot. Taking my buttonhole foot, I will slide onto my machine. My thread sits on. I follow the thread, hook it under and across, following my arrows. I will come down, following the arrows, hooking it under, again following the arrows, going straight back up to the top, hooking it down, coming down again, hook over before my needle, and then thread my needle. A little tip: if you're struggling to thread your needle, if you cut your thread at an angle, you should end up with a point, making it easier to thread your needle. I have a number of stitches you can select on the Husqvarna. You have a reverse button and it tells you across the panel what number and what dimensions you are using. I am now going to press number 39. 39 comes up on my panel, and also the letter C, which is the foot I need to use. Taking my fabric with my markings on, I will place under the foot. I will start at the bottom, bringing my presser foot down to hold my fabric in place, and then I can begin. My machine will do a small zigzag stitch backwards first until I get to the top where I can see my marker. Once I get here, I will press the reverse button in. The machine will do a wide zigzag and then carry on down with a small zigzag. When I get to the bottom, I will unreverse. Then I will carry on stitching, and the machine will automatically stop when it has completed. Lift up the presser foot and pull out your work. This is a tool you will use a lot in textiles. It is a quick unpick, a stitch unpick, an unpicker. It has a blade just here to cut. I will cut my threads off from the front, turn it over and do the same on the back. Taking my unpicker very carefully, using the point I will press that through my fabric to the other side, and holding it with my fingers, cut up, turn it round and cut up. I now have a hole ready for my button. I can now check that is correct for my button to go through by placing my button in and popping it through. I'm going to use my calico, my zip, my zipper foot, which has a letter E on it, and some dressmaking pins. Taking my calico and my pins, I will mark off roughly how much I need to sew down. Placing my fabric under the sheen, my presser foot down. I must take my pin out for safety reasons. I do not need to do a reverse button until the end. I will sew straight down. Then reverse and straight down. Lifting it off, cut my fabric and bring it to the front of my table. I will trim my threads, open my fabric so that my stitching is facing up. Using my fingers, I will press and create a crease mark. This will be where I will place my zip. Bring your zip in, placing it up, starting on one side where you have creased, pin the fabric and the zip together. Do this all the way down and around, so that everything is in place, ready for you to change your foot to the zipper foot and stitch a U shape around. Can sew down on either side you wish. I'm now going to change my straight foot for my zipper foot. What you have on the zipper foot are 2 bars. You must decide which bar you're going to do, either the left side or the right side. My zipper foot is on. Place my presser foot down, taking out my pins as I go, and sew down, starting with straight stitch first, then reverse, and then straight again. Hopefully I am not hitting the teeth of my zip. When you get to a pin, stop and take your pin out and carry on down, checking all the time where the end of your zip is, because that is where you will go across. Lift up the presser foot, turn the fabric round, place your presser foot back down and sew across using the hand wheel at the side, so that you don't hit any of the teeth of your zip and potentially break a needle. When you have gone across, Lift up the presser foot and turn your fabric round again. Press your presser foot back down and come straight down the other side. So in effect you are creating a U shape. Reverse at the end, cut and finish. You can now see you have created a U shape around your zip. Check your zip opens and closes. Remember, button hole foot C for your buttonhole, zipper foot E for your zip.